lot of people are consumed with money and greed, and it's just one thing that Raphael Fellmer from Germany doesn't want to deal with at all. In fact, for the last 2 years, he's done something known as a complete money strike. He doesn't want to touch money, he doesn't want to think about money, but of course, he wants to be able to provide for his wife and his child. So what he does is he has created his own version of a barter economy. So he gets certain goods and services by doing work, by offering, some sort of like handyman work here and there. And he actually gets medical attention that he needs by telling doctors that, I'll mow your lawn if you will be my wife's gynecologist, that kind of thing. Oh. I know, it's kind of incredible.
If you trim her bush, I'll trim your bush.
No, this is a fascinating guy, okay? All jokes aside, he's a fascinating guy. He says the following, we have more goods and more luxury than ever, but we are lacking human love and appreciation and contact.
Yeah. His heart's in the right place, and I'm not sufficiently liberal enough to go along with this, okay? So I'm the bad guy, but not buying it. I mean, at some point, he's going to get hungry for Kartoffelsalat.
It's been 2 years.
He's going to say, look, ich habe eine Geburtstag, but I don't have a Geburtstag cake, right? And so it can only go so far. It's cutesy.
It seems like he's pretty dead set to continue doing this. Okay, so he actually works with about 60 individuals that go or that have like almost these contracts with different stores and restaurants, about 10 of them. And they have this agreement that these shops, these stores, these grocery stores will give them the expired food at the end of the day as long as they promise not to sue if they get sick from eating that expired food. Now, I'm always fascinated by the question of expired food because a lot of times grocery stores will put like a ridiculous date on the food because they want to like really look out for themselves. They don't want anyone to get sick. They don't want anyone to blame the food that they've purchased on their illness. So, a lot of times the expiration date doesn't really mean that much.
Yeah, no, look, as long as he's not playing with fire as I used to. I mean, I'd eat expired food like a month, 2 months, 2 years after it was expired, right? I don't believe in the expired date, okay? I believe that they have genetically modified the food sufficiently that it will never really expire, right? Okay, now, so now feeding it to my kid, that's a little bit more dicey. And don't get me wrong, I like where the guy's heart's at because he's trying to not be wasteful, and that's great, and probably more people should do that. But he's probably lucky that he lives in Germany. If he lived in the U.S., okay, but what happens if you get cancer? Oh, what I'm going to do? I'm going to mow your lawn for the next billion years to treat cancer? No, you get an elbow from the sky, you're dead, you're gone. In Germany, they probably don't let you die if you get cancer, so it's easier.
He said that he was traveling across the world with his family, and at one point he was in the United States, and he needed a way to get to Europe. Now, of course, he doesn't touch money, he doesn't believe in money, and he said that he actually came across an American who was willing to give up his frequent flyer miles to allow him to fly back to Europe with his family. So I know that that's different from the scenario you brought up with healthcare costs and whatever, but there are good Americans out there that are willing to do great things, in this so-called barter system.
Yeah.
I want to give you a few more examples because I find this so fascinating, okay? For housing, the couple does fix-it jobs for a nonprofit center in Berlin called Peace House that allows them to live in the building for free. For food, Fellmer asks for leftovers from grocery stores. For clothes, he and his wife use donations. Now, when it comes to healthcare, he asks doctors and dentists to give him free checkups. Sometimes he will do odd jobs to pay off doctor's bills, like carpentry for his wife's gynecologist. So it's actually carpentry. I wanted to clarify that.
Okay, so he lays wood for them if they lay wood on...
No, there is no laying of the wood. Okay.
Okay.
I love, the best part about this is Jesus' laughter in the background.
Okay. It's fun and games until somebody gets cancer. That's my bottom line on it. All right, but look.
What a downer.
Okay, I know. But money is important, okay? And it's totally misunderstood. It's misunderstood by both sides. It's misunderstood by the liberals as some sort of bad thing, like, oh, money, oh, it's evil, it's bad. No, all it is making the barter system slightly more efficient. Hey, I mowed your lawn. Hey, oh, look at that, this represents $10. I will now give the $10 over to you so that I can eat a sandwich, okay? Instead of saying, hey, dude, man, Can you make me the sandwich if I mow your lawn? Right? That's inefficient. Money makes it more efficient. But on the other hand, great majority of our society, and that's why he's largely right on the macro scale, has become obsessed with this thing. Like, oh my God, money, money, money. No. Money is something that helps you get the things that you need, right?
Money buys you security, and it buys you comfort and safety.
It buys you things, right? And some of those things are really important, whether it's healthcare or it's food for your family, etc. But money is not the end goal, and yes, 90% of us have lost track of that, where we become obsessed with money, and I have to have the money, give me the money, right? No, but that wasn't the point. And if you thought that was the point, you've ruined your life over it, right? So I would say that we shouldn't go to either extreme. They understand that money is important, because if you don't have it, believe me, you're going to realize how important it is, right? So when Russell Simmons has come on the show a couple of times and he's like, oh, it's not important. Like, yeah, it's not important to you because you're a multi-millionaire.
Super rich, exactly.
I love you, brother, but come on, if you don't have a certain amount of money, believe me, it gets really important, right? But at the same time, if you become obsessed with it, then Russell's right. You've ruined your life over a means rather than the end, and you forgot what the end is, which is supposed to be happiness.